Hello, everybody. Hope you all doing well. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're going to continue on with episode 2, The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. So let us get started.
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road. As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind had been resolved. But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight, then in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night. I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas. Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene, it only proved to be the overture that announced the rising of the curtain on a most tragic play.
My name is Ryunosuke Naruto. I'm a fledgling lawyer just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law, having made a long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancies of sorts. I've successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey, but since a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. But the epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale, a tale which was now about to awaken from slumber, thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. Oh, that is me right now, actually. I am quite hungry. What a delicious smell wafting up the stairs. It must be nearly time for breakfast. I better go down to Mr. Shom's suite and say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. Yay, isn't it good to be back? 30th August, 7:28 a.m. Shom's suite. Ah, Runo, good! I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready. Good morning, Iris. It smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. I had a surprise this morning. Shh, not another word, Mr. Naruto. And if you're wondering why he's in that outfit, it's also another alternate costume. This could be just the abstruse thing of my pre-breakfast stagnation repelling mental stimulation, my dear friend. Morning to you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, I see. So that's it. The truth is as clear as day to me. My faculties of observation have revealed it again. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruto, you have, this very morning, met with a surprise. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear friend, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course, though I don't look for admiration, you understand. My hair always looks like this. It's been that way since I first met you. Oh, has it? And the button was ripped off last night, if you remembered. By you. Hurley pulled your button off? Ah, yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder, then, that in my vexation, I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place. Well, I'd like to have it back now, please. It is troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And troubling it me that you expect me to know where it is? Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. Helpful. What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring. But Hurley, Ryunosuke said he came in, didn't it? I had a surprise this morning. Oh my gosh, literally like a 5 or 7 minute conversation of something he just said. Oh gosh, Sholmes, you are text padding. Well, that really is a surprise. No, it's not. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire, the famous consulting detective Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name. Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it gets cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too, my latest special blend. And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion. A truly exceptional young girl who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, as published in Rance magazine. So, Mr. Naruto, why don't you put out of our misery what surprise you find this fine morning? Well, I received a letter from Japan. Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it really? That's right, and she had some rather startling news, in fact. Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast. Oh yes, what fun! Oh, finally, some little bit of interaction, I guess. Oh, just more text until something bad happens. This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning by international post. Oh, how lovely. Look at Susie's beautiful handwriting. I wish I could read it. And how is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case. Ah, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful? A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I've won cases too, you know. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsume. No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do. We helped the man twice. You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago. The mustache twitching man with the somewhat feline eyes and mustache. He didn't have 2 mustaches, Hurley. Yes, who could forget those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although, I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. A very deep impression they made on you, clearly. So, what was this startling news penned by Mr. Sato? Do you remember the case of the haunting lodgings, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, it's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur. He's totally forgotten then. Anyway, in her letter, Mr. Sato asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. I don't remember a haunted lodgings case. I don't remember helping Natsume twice. I remember only one time. Though it took place a half a year ago, for what purpose? Because of something that Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan was so suddenly might have something to do with the case of the haunted lodgings. Oh. On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Mr. Sato's father questioned him about the case, he says. And something that Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram. Oh, that case! It was very strange, wasn't it? Yes. And I had compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication too. But then Hurley here was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story must not be published, you said, very mysteriously as well. Really, I said that, are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Sholmes? About why Mr. Sato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan? It's been 4 months since we raided Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan? Indeed it was, due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right, telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. No. It just said he was suffering from high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse. A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so that she'd make the voyage back home? Why would he do that? I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea, but she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that. I wonder what Mr. Sato's father is hiding. Hurley, you don't know what it's all about. Well, who can say? But you said... Please, I have an engagement, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. The stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel, even if I were quite a leisure. So, the man fought in my absence, won't you, Iris? I will, Hurley. Don't you worry. See you later. Well, and he's gone. Along with his secrets. He scuttled off rather quickly there. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Sasaki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By of all people, Mr. Sholmes. Aha! I found them at last! Iris, are they... The notes about the case, that's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Runo? Absolutely, thank you, Iris. I have no idea what secrets could be still hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come into light. I really don't remember that case. That's the spirit. And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigations and the fierce battle into court that followed. Reliving every detail. I just need to find a clue. I have all the time in the world. Because, of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain. Why is he still in Great Britain, then? Wasn't his only purpose to be studying law? I don't know. That feels a bit weird. It was 6 months ago, a mysterious incident that unfolded on the wintry streets of London. Oh yeah, I remember this case. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavements on Briar Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. The fog was thick and nobody saw her attacker, but... by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japan student was walking behind her at the time and was duly arrested. That man was Saseki-san, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Susato-san and I decided to represent Saseki-san in court. And after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence. Joyful, joyous, jubilant jubilation was the man's reaction after the trial. But the jubilant jubilation was short-lived. What happened after that? I thought we skipped to something. We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. The victim of the Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to Bart's at once. So Susato and I summoned a hansom and headed immediately to the hospital. Yeah, this is all new to me. It's weird how they decided to either skip this over in the first game or they decided to add this in for some reason. 21st February, 5:30 a.m. St. Bartholomew's Hospital Recovery Ward. There you are at last. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. I think not. Oh. Your legs, what on earth took you so long? Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes, and it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital. That's right, and it's 5:30 now. I think we made a very good time. The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I have been waiting for what has felt like an eternity. Point of fact, I myself was woken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy, and feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour, I sent one to you. Well, thanks for that. Anyway, you're here now. The victim is over there. She's just regained consciousness. Oh, look at that cute little rat. That's a huge rat. I just realized that's a huge rat. You should introduce yourself and I shall observe from here. Is he afraid of the rat? Is that little statue supposed to be like her body? It's very weird. It's weird how they have an accurate representation of her. So that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with a knife in her back. Her name is... yes, here we are, Miss Green. I guess let's examine the room a bit. This round wooden figure isn't the most charming, is it? I don't think that's a decoration, Mr. Naruto. It's an artist mannequin, I believe, used for practicing sketching the human form in different poses. Really, it's not exactly what you call a typical figure for that purpose, though, is it? No, I suppose not. I confess I've never seen quite so full-figured before. Well, if you want to draw a full-figured person, it's the right tool for the job. I'm very curious about this. Giga mouse, Mr. Naruto, an enormous mouse. Vermin in a hospital? That doesn't seem the best. It looks a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very pumped. I'm not sure we can say that down to excellence of this facility, if that's what we're thinking. Okay, well, make no mind about the rat. That must be a bag of Miss Green's personal belongings. She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed at the pavement, though. I expect a friend or family member brought some things to her. Alright then, let's see what's inside. A change of clothes, no doubt. No, Mr. Naruto, you must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings. The young maiden might have chocolates and biscuits or caramel. I think he really wants those things. Good morning. Hello, I'm Ryunosuke Naruto from the Empire of Japan. Oh no, was it your knife that... Are you the man who... No, I'm a lawyer. And I'm Susato Mikotoba, pleased to meet you. Oh no, was it your knife then? Are you the... No, I assure you, I'm Mr. Naruto's judicial assistant. We heard that you gained consciousness and wanted to give you our best wishes. The best wishes for me? Thank you. Oh, she's like a painter. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's not right, is it? What I mean is I'm trying to be an artist. Well, what I really mean is I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is, I don't really have any talent. I know I don't. It's no wonder I was stabbed in the back. I don't think that's related, actually. Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down. Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. Alright, I think this is going to be a good spot to end this part here. So, thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and until then, I will see you all later. Goodbye.